Tonight, the Treasurer declares New South Wales is back in business.
We are now in control of the budget. It's no longer in control of us.
His freewheeling budget that's already winning pre-election support.
Big roads, better hospitals and smarter schools. It's Politics 101 and Western Sydney is cashing in.
Barack Obama sends troops back to Iraq, but not for war, he says. The question is, will Tony Abbott do the same?
And one of the world's biggest rock bands stopped Sydney cold just so they could play.
This is 10 Eyewitness News with Sandra Sully and Hugh Riminton.
Well, good evening. It has all the razzmatazz of an election budget. Big on infrastructure promises and a juicy surplus. But the state government has already been criticised for filling up its big economic document with re-announcements and rhetoric.
The new Treasurer, Andrew Constance, made it clear that he's cashed up and ready to splurge, starting with roads and transport. He's calling it rebuilding, with spending on health also getting a booster shot.
Well, today's state budget will have a major impact on Sydney's West. We'll have reaction from there shortly. But first to John Hill at State Parliament. And John, unlike the federal budget, not many nasties in this one.
Well, Hugh, this isn't the type of budget that would worry ordinary families. But after 3 years of cutbacks, the government says it's about to turbocharge the economy with some massive infrastructure spending. Treasurer Andrew Constance could barely contain himself, declaring the state's finances are in good shape, thanks to asset sales and higher than expected revenue.
New South Wales is back in the game. Yeah. Our budget is powerfully positioned. Net debt is down, expenses are under control, the AAA credit rating is maintained.
A welcome $988 million surplus in the current year, dipping into a deficit of $283 million next year, but bouncing back to a surplus of $660 million in 2015-16.
When you invest in jobs and you invest in housing, the economy grows and the tax base responds accordingly into government.
The budget provides for a record $5.5 billion in road spending, including $578 million to continue work on the Pacific and Princes Highways, almost $400 million to get the West Connects project underway and $1.4 billion on road maintenance. And there's more money for feasibility studies into a new M9 orbital linking Campbelltown and Windsor and another freeway between the airport and Waterfall. $1.5 billion is being spent on our railways, funding further construction on the North West project. There's money to complete the South West link and $7 million to start planning for a second harbour crossing.
Leasing 49% of our electricity networks to take that capital and invest back into new infrastructure, such as some of those projects, is vital for New South Wales.
Health spending continues to grow, $19.9 billion this year, with extra money to cope with increasing numbers of hospital admissions. The government estimates there'll be 40,000 extra patients in the coming year, and 80,000 more will visit emergency departments. The Treasurer says he's heading for a showdown with Canberra over its reluctance to pay for hospitals. Years of underfunding community services has prompted an extra $500 million to pay for better child protection. There's also record spending on education, up $612 million, funding 14 new schools and delivering on the state's commitment to the Gonski reforms. And an extra 309 police are being recruited over the next year, boosting numbers to more than 16,500.
This is a budget that's full of hollow promises and only guarantees further cuts to our education system, further cuts to health, and glossy documents and consultants' reports on infrastructure that might never actually occur.
And the critics call that an economic road to nowhere. Now, this budget's of course been framed with an eye to the election, and the Treasurer says between now and March, the government will be announcing even more infrastructure projects.
John Hill at State Parliament, thank you.
Roads, education and hospitals. Premier Mike Baird has gone back to basics. And if everything he's promising comes off, it will be a bonanza for Sydney's West. Melinda Nusafora has been talking to voters and businesses to see if they're ready to bank on the Baird blueprint.